Okay, this is a question about, do you look at IMDB when you're casting? Do you look at reels when you're casting, etc.? And I believe we've done one other vlog about this previously, and I think it upset people because it's not the answer they wanted to hear. I think that's what it is.
That's interesting.
And I've been asked this question several times when I have been live at a Q&A or at an event. And I am going to perhaps exaggerate, but I will speak for some of the actors who've asked, is I believe the actor's fantasy for a casting director is that you receive the submission on Breakdown Services or Actors Access. You see the picture and you're like, oh, I want to know more. And so you click that picture and then you watch the whole reel, and then you watch a clip from something, and then you watch a clip for something, and that's how you get to know the actor before you say, will you audition for something? And let's say there are 1,000 actors submitted for one role, and let's say you're casting 30 roles. So you have 30,000 actors to go through that process. And so
you definitely will go through that process when you're further down the line.
Yes. When you're further down the line, yes.
But if it's a smaller project, you might be going through that process. If you have a very limited budget and a limited number of people that are submitting, you'll look at everything for every actor to see if there's any way that we can make it work with this actor.
Absolutely. I also think that if the timeline is more expanded, you have, or I have, or the office staff has more time to indeed be very specific on who is being asked to audition. And you always want to be specific as one can be. You don't want to just ask 400 people to send tapes in, because frankly then you're out of time and you can't watch them all. So there's a real balancing act there.
But anyway, a reel is like candy to me. It is hard not to click.
I click reels and I click
definitely, yeah.
Through. So it takes like maybe 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm probably, I agree. I'm right on board with you.
Yeah, which people won't like hearing. They won't, because they put a lot of time and effort into the reel, but it could serve one down the line, because also there's a certain part of casting where all of a sudden the reel is going to be adjacent material to the audition.
That happened to me yesterday.
Yeah.
I had to bolster what we had come in as a self-tape, and to have the conversation with the decision makers that weren't in the room with us.
Yeah.
And that reel bolstered the fact that the actor did have experience. They would be fine with this genre of a role, and did have enough on camera experience, because it was a student film project, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
How do you feel about, and another part of the question is IMDB. How do you feel about IMDB credits, IMDB star meter ratings, which then gets us into social media followers? And do you think that has a great impact on your casting choices?
So I'm speaking as me in my experience, and for me IMDB is a great tool for information. I don't even know where the star meter is on the page. I pay this amount of attention to the star meter, but I understand if it's a low budget independent feature and you're trying to get distribution and you have somebody that has a lot of followers, if all playing fields are equal for the role and you have two candidates that are, you know, that would bring equally interesting choices to the role, it would be hard not to pay attention to the person that is very good at using social media, because you're thinking they'll be able to help us with our getting our film out there. But that's a very specific thing. I use it for information and not decision making.
Yeah, I use IMDb mostly to find out who is represented by whom.
Completely, yeah.
Like information.
And what other projects they've worked on that I might be able to do my due diligence to check up on someone and call about that project. Exactly.
And no, I don't love when extra roles are on IMDb, but it's so easy to tell because it says uncredited, so it's
You shouldn't be.
It's ridiculous. But people do it, and then it's impossible to get off, I hear, so people make mistakes and then they get so mad, but it's not the end of the world. People know when it says uncredited, that means you're an extra.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think that these are all substantial tools that a real professional actor needs to have.
Completely.
And because it's not about the fact that a casting director does or doesn't look at your material, it's about the fact that you have the material should a case come up, and that will bolster you, help the casting director bolster you, legitimize you, and show your range. That's why you have it. It's a just in case thing, and that's a very positive thing. So the fact that I don't watch reels very often doesn't mean that
I
they're
watch
not.
reels constantly.
There you go. Exactly. So you know how the labor is devised now
Yeah.
when we are co-casting directors.
That's true. The other thing I would like to mention is I know that everyone is very proud of their websites. You're proud of your website. I'm proud of
Exactly.
my website. If you have a profile, particularly on Actors Access or EcoCast, please don't add any. Please add your media to that platform as well, and don't just direct us to your website. We literally
Oh.
don't have the time
Yeah,
to
I
do
won't
that.
make another click. Yeah, I won't
Completely.
make another
So I
click.
know that your website is probably fabulous, but I don't have the time to look. But if I had the opportunity to look at some media right there on your profile, I probably will.
Yeah, I think that answers the question. It was, do you look at IMDb when you're casting, and do you look at reels? That was the question.
Yes and yes, no and no.
I know, I do a little bit. That's it's not just no rest for it. It's just on a when I need to. Yes, that's the answer. When I need to. How's that?
Good.
Thank you for listening. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like. Please remember to comment